to network, to meet people, and to just see what's going on in like other businesses and what other people are doing. Also really excited about the startup space in Cape Town and the ecosystem that we have here.
My name is Chad Laybourne. I'm currently working as a freelance designer. I work here at Workshop 17 and I'm attending this event because I'm very interested in creating my own company and looking to break through with a new big idea. So I thought this would be a valuable place to get a good amount of information and mix with the right amount of people.
Hi, my name is Klaus. I'm from Stellenbosch University, and the reason I decided to come to Startup Grind today is because I think Stellenbosch needs to represent more as part of the big Western Cape picture, and I feel like we have a lot to offer on that side, but we're a little bit out of town, so we often don't come to these things. So I'd very much like to bring the students into Cape Town, into the big city, and kind of make a change in a strange way.
Okay, the man with a plan, back to the stage. Sandra Spiri is our host for this evening. Enjoy.
Thank you. And now, I'd like to introduce our guest for today. This is somebody that's really doing an amazing work in the fishing industry. And at Startup Grind, what we try to do, especially in Africa and South Africa, is to balance tech businesses and non-purely tech businesses. Whilst the tech businesses grow very quickly, but the non-tech businesses actually are the ones that solve South African problems of job creation and employment. So when the company was started, the division that the speaker, the guest today, when she started that division, she started out with 2 people. Now she was over 100 people, and the business is turning over 20 million rand. Please welcome to the stage, Nicolette de Freitas. Hi, Nicolette. Can you take a seat? We need the other microphone.
Hi everybody.
Welcome to Startup Grind, Nicolette.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think we've been having a few chats, and we had a great chat yesterday, and looking up the work you've done, looking at your videos, and like really tremendous work. So I'd like to say well done to begin with.
Thank you very much.
Great. And you were born here in Cape Town.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm born and bred in Cape Town.
Closer.
Closer, okay.
Yes.
I'm
Closer.
Closer.
Yes.
Sorry.
So they can hear you at the back.
I'm blessed with 3 beautiful princesses. They do a great job at keeping me on my toes. I come from a family of 5 siblings, which I've lost 2. Growing up, I was never really the brightest spark in the class, but always hardworking, conscientious. You know, one of those pupils that would get that "thank you for trying so hard" medal, you know, that kind of thing.
You get A for effort.
You know? But yes, I was always interested in my family and my parents' businesses, and always worked from a very young age, from grade 8, I'd say standard 6. Always had part-time jobs and like to be self-sufficient and independent in my own way.
And then both your grandparents were fishermen, right? And is that where the passion for fish came from?
I would say yes and I would say no. So my grandfather from my dad's side, he was a fisherman. And my grandfather from my mom's side, he was a hustler. He was involved and had many business interests. Even the last few years of his life, I'd say about 30, he also became a skipper and a captain of his own vessel. And then, you know, I come from a family that my parents are movers and shakers as well, huge entrepreneurs. So from casinos to restaurants to nightclubs. But again, you know, I think the sea really was part of our DNA. And I mean, my dad, even though he's quite an entrepreneur, even studied to be a skipper and skippered his own vessel. So I'd say yes, you know, I've always been close to the sea. It's been part of our life. But I've always had a natural interest for business and interested to get involved and help people close to me. So yeah.
And part of your journey is you worked in corporate and FMCG, right?
FHS Financial Services.
Okay, yeah. You tell us the transition from working in the corporate. Why did you decide to quit, and how did you actually do it? Because people who are working there are people who want to make a shift and they struggle to do that. How easy was it for you to shift from working in corporate to joining the business?
It was a difficult shift. You know, you need to move out of a comfort zone. You know, corporate is a real safety net.
Yeah.
And then to come and be involved in a family business, it was a difficult move. However, you know, being an entrepreneur and having that flexibility obviously comes with a lot more responsibility. But yes, it was a difficult move, but very rewarding.
Were you pushed to join the business, or did you decide you want to do it?
No, I was pushed.
Okay.
Yes, my late brother really needed my help and assistance.
Yeah.
And I think my parents were already having a vision of creating the Fish4Africa concept. So yes, I was pushed.
And working in a family business, what are some of the dynamics? Like you're working with your dad, and your dad is an entrepreneur, strong personality, somebody who's got things going, he's got successes in different industries, and you're coming in. What are some of the dynamics around that, and how do you navigate that? Like so many people who are in similar situations, thinking like, how do you make something big out of this?
Well, I mean, I think many people can relate that it's very tough. You know. However, there's definite pros and cons.
Obviously.
You know, being able to work with people that know your personality and I'd like to think love you unconditionally is easier. However, those relationships do need a lot more care and finesse opposed to a business relationship with a supplier, per se. For me, it was maybe being the patient person that I am and trying to always be a peacemaker and understand everybody's point of view has helped me balance, be that daughter, sister, business owner. But yeah, it's quite challenging.
And then when you started out, you were really just doing those, and you do this, do that, you look at the books, you do this, you do so many different things. How did you carve out your niche now, like the internal entrepreneurial side, like the entrepreneurship where you say, look, I can create this division and grow it. How did you do that?
I think by answering this question, I would have to, if you don't mind, maybe tell you a bit about the story.
Yeah, sure.
So my dad, being a skipper himself and a natural entrepreneur, you know, he always had unique insight into fishing. And my mom, she was this phenomenal CEO of a large black fishing corporation. So she also had gained experience into marketplace, cold chain, supply, and collectively they felt there was something missing on the local market. You know, why export all premium quality fish abroad? Why can't we offer something to the local market at good, affordable prices? Give people an opportunity to be healthier, to, just to have that availability. And so the vision, and obviously a big part, I must say, especially from my mom's perspective, was food security on the local market. So that's where the whole Fish4Africa concept was kind of born. And I mean, when we went to market, it was myself, my late brother, my uncle and my dad, and my mom. You know, it was phenomenal. Sure, we just grew. The market was excited about us. However, you know, I think, like many of us all know here, when we're starting our business, our ducks weren't in a row. You know, our priorities weren't right in the sense that, you know, we were driving a business on passion and product. However, the foundation wasn't, the systems weren't put in place. So we were running before crawling. And obviously we found ourselves on a bit of shaky ground. And to add to that shaky ground, we lost a very important part of our business. My late brother committed suicide. And you know, it was a tough season. It was a tough season emotionally, but also we're sitting in a business dilemma. You've got staff that are looking at you. You need to put yourself together and make things happen and still be human. So we took the opportunity to just relook at things and to restructure the company. And in doing that, there wasn't a purpose for me in Fish4Africa. I was doing, like you said earlier, Stan, the mundane work, the depositing money, doing the ordering, nothing that fulfilled Nikki. You know, I've always had a dream and a passion to make a difference in people's lives. So I started a very difficult, challenging journey of my life where I started doing markets. I mean, I wanted to get this brand out there. I love this brand and I wanted to have a purpose and make people proud. So I started doing markets, which was hard work. Every Saturday, 4 o'clock in the morning, fresh ice. And then I just, like I say, kept on dreaming about seeing Fish4Africa in a supermarket, making my father and mother proud. And I approached Spar, and I asked them if I could maybe man a few of their fish departments and bring a store within a store. After numerous negotiations and hard work and convincing people about fish, because you know the negative perception about how stinky fish is and all the rest of it, my business evolution began. And my baby was formed, the leg of Fish4Africa into the retail chain.
Wow, that's excellent. That's an incredible story. Like the ups and downs, both on the personal side, on the business side. And so when you got in now, and maybe tell us what were some of the challenges that you went through from the time you just went into, you talked to the manager to say, hey, can I bring my fish in here? What were the things they asked you to do, and how did you go through that? Ensure that you didn't have everything ready on day one.
Oh no, it was a challenge for me because I mean people were expecting me to do projections. People were expecting me to forecast and put budgets and targets into place. And you know, to do these fancy business plans. It was daunting. It was, I found myself in a place of a lot of doubt and lack of self-confidence. But I've been blessed with a very big fighting spirit. I don't give up easily. I mean, I think sometimes that is a flaw in my personality. So it was just about, you know, believing in the passion, believing in the drive. You know, that door gets shut 10 times, but you're there on the 11th time, and that 11th time, the door will open again. It's just about perseverance, and if anything, that journey of starting off, you know, I needed to fail. Because, or it wasn't actually fail, but those little obstacles, sometimes in our darkest hour, we think it's just failure, but it's really an opportunity for growth and to push boundaries within yourself. And obviously, I must mention that I'm very spiritual, and you know, I've got a strong anchor in the Lord, and He's really given me strength to persevere and to fulfill my dream.
Oh, that's encouraging. And so when you, now tell us about when you moved from supplying Spar, now moving on to Pick n Pay, and what are some of the similarities and what are the differences? And what are the lessons around supplying big retail chains?
I think before I answer that question, I think, you know, it's a big part of my journey or the growth as being an entrepreneur in the business is the funding aspect.
Yeah.
You know, because when I started the business, and even, you know, in the early days, as the family, as the dream was born, you know, we try to run the business very organically. So, you know, there's no funding needed. You just make it work. You wing it. That has an advantage because you're able to do a lot of, or to experience trial and error. But when you start with the corporates, funding is imperative. You know, you need to be in a position where you're able to employ talent to help you, to buy the tools that your business needs.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would say, you know, the journey into the big retail has been a lot more successful because I was blessed with funding from Anglo-American, as well as have a great relationship and also receive funding from CEDA, which is South African Enterprise Development Agency.
How did you get that funding to begin with? Like a lot of people are saying we need funding, there's no funding, but you managed to get that. How did you manage?
Well, I just researched. I mean, you can't go to a bank as an entrepreneur. I mean, banks just ask you for financial statements. I mean, entrepreneur financial statements look shocking. You have this dream and you can see the dream, and you know, the banker is just, you know, it's about crunching numbers. It doesn't make sense to him. So it was just about doing a lot of research, you know, participating in things like this, going to funding fairs. And then I met an incredible person at Westgrow, and she held my hand, believed in the dream, and put me on to Anglo-America. From Anglo-America then referred me to CEDA. And I mean, those have been partners that have just, you know, they just encourage us entrepreneurs and introduce us to the marketplace in ways that will blow your mind, and ways that you don't think is possible. And then also, I must add, you know, the journey with Pick n Pay and being part of this enterprise and supply development program too. I mean, the mentorship. I mean, that was the gateway to the Pick n Pay supply. is to be part of these programs. And you know, and as an entrepreneur, we don't have time. We always like chasing time, chasing the clock. We have to get things done, but it is imperative that we network and we get involved in these programs that are there to help us and give us exposure that we need.
Yeah. And then you grew from 2 employees, or very few employees, and now to over 100. Tell us about that switch. At what point did you feel this is different now, it's big? How do you, for instance, how do you manage 100 people? How do you do that?
I never ever felt the difference. You know, for me, 100 people and 2 people, there's not much difference. You know, the staff has been the success of Fish4Africa. The biggest, I'm the leader, I steer the ship, but you know, if it wasn't for the staff that we have in the organization, we would never grow the numbers. Yeah. So yeah, I would say technology really helps. It helps to manage everybody. Yeah, but you know, it's just about maybe balancing time and you know, structuring it that everybody within your organization, your staff is imperative, and giving staff the opportunity to make a difference within the organization, to grow them into leadership qualities.
Let's see. Great. And this month at Startup Grind globally, we are hosting female leaders like you. And here in Cape Town, we had so many options, like so many female leaders. A lot in this audience right now. A big hand for all the female leaders. It was very difficult to choose, and I know that everybody has got an experience of how they managed to do well in their various spheres. But for you, particularly in fishing, which is interesting because it's male dominated, and I actually couldn't find a word. I would say fisherman. I've never heard fisherwoman, you know. I'd say she's in fish. I wouldn't say. What's been your experience like working in the fishing industry?
Oh, it's been a challenge. I've just chosen to see the opportunity in the challenge. I mean, you know, fishing historically is male dominated. So, you know, coming into the industry, I could not kid myself or fool myself that I wasn't going to receive some sort of resilience, you know. You know, there's a quote that I hold on to, and that's by our late Winnie Mandela, where she says, you know, you strike a woman and you strike a rock. Yeah. I think the strength of a woman, you know, it's really discovered through her adversity, you know, and the industry has really helped me push my emotional, my mental side. And I mean, I just think it's been a great opportunity to combine the strengths of both male and female. So it's definitely been a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge for me when my intelligence is not taken seriously. You know, when your vessel is at sea and the chief engineer has just sent you an email to say, we're coming back to port because the rocker arm pressure is 0.75. You know, that's a challenge for me because, you know, I make a point that when the mechanics are on the vessel, that I'm sitting on the floor of the engine room, eating a pie, drinking a Coke, and listening that, you know, that rocker arm pressure can come down to 0.5. As long as it's lubricated, the vessel can sail. Yes. She can pull the net. So in that regard, you know, but as I'm getting older, I'm maturing, and you know, we have to choose our battles. Yeah. Leave the egotistic they'll be, just get on with it, make sure the job gets done.
I guess are those moments you say, Mama, give us a signal. Oh, great. Yeah, I think there's so many different experiences that people are going through. You mentioned also when we were chatting the other day about filleting and people talking about that. Like, you'd share some of those examples where a man would say, look, this is how it's done, and then you actually say, look, we'll do it this way.
Yeah, it's. I just think that sometimes people are just are resilient to change, and I think it's just due to circumstances. But yeah, I've had many experiences. I must say that I actually like whoop woman power when I prove them wrong. But sometimes I actually have to just remain humbled and hope that I've helped them realize that we've all got a common goal. We all want the business to succeed or the vessel to sail. But yeah, challenging. When you're working out costings and one of your filleters are saying, you need to fillet from the head to the tail, and you saying, no, you must fillet from the tail to the head. Or when your skipper is saying he's not going to sea because the swells are too bad, and you're like, what? 4 meter swells, that's nothing. So it is challenging, but it's also very rewarding when you prove them wrong.
Yeah, brilliant. And so what advice would you give somebody that wants to create a business like yours, or is in a family business and want to expand and grow? What advice would you have?
Sure. I could sit here for hours.
Yes, we are here all night.
For me, consistency, commitment, and confidence. For me, it's the 3 C's. It's something that anchors me, and I hold on to it every day. As entrepreneurs, we are going to fail. We are going to be challenged. But we need to see the opportunity in the challenge. We need to look at that failure as growth. So I would just say, if you've got a dream, you just need to persevere and go back to, like I said earlier, consistency, commitment, confidence. An entrepreneur, if you're expecting not to be pushed out of your comfort zone, and I mean not to work crazy hours and not to fail, then I think you're setting yourself up for failure. I think we just have to accept that it's a tough ride, and we can all do it if we put our mind to it.
Great. And what are the things one should consider when they're thinking about supplying the big chains? And what should you prepare for, or what are the things I should put in place before I approach Pick n Pay, Spar, Woolies? What should I think about? And we're going to start taking questions from the audience. We'll start preparing questions.
I think, first of all, you need to have a dream, and you need to. It's imperative that our dream is backed by our passion. That's no doubt about that. But before you go guns blazing, I think it's imperative that you actually do market research, that you have a business plan, that you've done some sort of projection, costings. Educate yourself before you are confronted by these big guys, because they don't really have time for us sometimes. But if your ducks are in a row, all you have to do is just go in there, and as all the entrepreneurs sitting here, we all got passion, we all have a vision, so you sell them with your passion. But your systems need to be in place. You need to have a structure and a plan.
Okay, great. We're going to take questions. There's a question by Ian Kaywood. Thank you.
Hey Nicolette, your humility is profound and it speaks boldly and it's beautiful. And thank you for sharing the story about your brother. I think all of us can relate to tough times in our lives and having to pull through, so thank you. What would you say, just in a snapshot, was the biggest moment you look back or you looked to the mirror and winked and said, I did that, I got that one right? And what was your biggest stuff up?
Okay, so I think, I don't know, everybody maybe measures success in a different way. I don't know if it's monetary or the number of accolades you have behind your name. But for me, standing in front of the mirror, knowing that I make a difference in 100 people's lives that have dependents of, let's say, 2 or 3, is incredible. And I make a point to change the lives of my employees. I'm big on skills development, empowerment. You know, it's not just about saying it, it's about doing it. And I can wink at myself in the mirror that I'm active and I'll make that difference. I'd say am I right in saying my biggest downfall? Stuff up.
Mess up, stuff up.
Mess up. Okay, so my biggest mess up, I can't. Oh, I need to think about that one. Okay, I'd have to say 2 things. One being over eager to please and to just do whatever's asked of me, especially when the big retailers, you know, come to you with these proposals that are not actually viable to your business, but you've got that eager personality. And then I'd say that I'm fearless. Going back to the spiritual aspect of my life, you know, knowing the Lord, you shouldn't be fearful. However, I feel that having fear in business actually brings an element of caution, because you know, you need to reflect, you need to do your risk analysis, you need to think twice before you just jump in. So I'd say, yeah, being over-eager and fearless is definitely my downfall.
Great. Thanks. There's a question here, the number.
Hi Nicolette, your story is really inspiring. I'd like to hear how you manage with your children and how does that work for you in terms of working long hours and trying to create balance. I know it's difficult, but how do you structure your time that you can create time for your children?
Okay, again, I'm a very real person, so I must say it's tough. However, I think every situation it's very personal. It's about what really works for you. I don't have a conventional plan on the way I do things. I mentally try and keep myself balanced as a mom and as an entrepreneur. And as you all know, it's about, as an entrepreneur, it's pushing hours. You know, time is a big thing. So, you know, if it means, like I say, my planning and my balance is very unconventional. So if it means that I have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to address emails, plan my day, and then children are up at 6:15 because they come to school all the way in town, be on the road by 6:45, by 8 o'clock, my mommy duties are done, and then get back to basics. Or, you know, if my oldest princess has a netball game, I'd like to attend that, and I've missed 2 hours of work. So once the kiddies are sleeping, it's back to emails, back to planning, back to reading policies or whatever need be. Yeah, so it's a challenge, but you know, you have to make it work. You don't actually have a choice.
Great, thanks. There's a question there, Bruce.
Quick one. Has there ever been a situation where you've come across a partner or potential client that you've just said no to where this would damage your employees, your morale, your business, and you just thought, no, I don't want to do business with these people for whatever reason? Have you ever been in that situation, and can you tell us a bit about it?
Definitely. I've been only in that situation recently because I've become aware of my flaw of being over eager to the point where you have to compromise on your business ethos and your morals. I would prefer not to actually share too much into that experience because it was quite a harsh thing. But you know, at the end of the day, for me, saying no was such a huge achievement, or actually walking away from that relationship, because you know, my staff work exceptionally hard. We've got a plan, we've got a vision. You're either going to be part of us and comply and be part of our moral ethos, or you know what, rather go find yourself another partner. But as I'm maturing, I am learning not to compromise my morals and my standards for business, because you know, like I say, it depends on how you are measuring your success. Is your success based on crushing numbers and being an overnight success, or is your success based on having authentic business, making a real difference, really changing lives?
Very good. The question there.
Okay, so my question is, you in a business that is very controversial, basically, like Sandra was saying that there's no such thing as like a fisherwoman, it's mainly a fisherman. What advice would you give to young girls, like myself, that are entrepreneurs and are going to different sectors that are not really seen for women? And then what advice would you give to men to say, welcome them into these new sectors, so that we're not in a space where the two worlds are clashing, but instead the two worlds are like supporting each other for the same goal, basically?
I think as a woman, I'd have to go back to my whole 3 C's aspect, anchor, that I hold on to. You know, be consistent, have that confidence in yourself. You know, we're living in a 21st century. We can do it if we put our minds to it. With regards to the egotistic side of the male, I'd say embrace that female. You know, she brings an element of diversity that, you know, can only make the situation beneficial in so many ways. I mean, if I can just talk a bit about myself, I mean, emotion is a big part of me, and emotion has made me the businesswoman that I am today. I'm a real person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. What you see is what you get. I have good days, I have bad days. Don't be afraid of that. You know, I might be silly to many people here, and you know, at times my dad thinks I'm crazy, but when our vessel sets sail, I will say a prayer with my crew, or I will bring a chocolate cake for the crewman that's spending his birthday on the ship. A woman's emotional side can, you know, we've got such an incredible power that is different to being that aggressive, stick to the program kind of a thing. So yeah, go back to the 3 C's, be real, and men embrace it. You can only soften up by that.
Great, thanks. There's another question there. Yeah.
Hi, Nicolette. I'm a male, so I'll ask this question gently. Do you ever miss, looking in hindsight, leaving the corporate world? And I know a bit about you, so when you look back in hindsight, did you make the right decision? Because that's the big step that you made. that was stepping out from a comfort zone to where you were?
I would be lying if I said no. You know, the corporate world gives you that security blanket. The challenges are less in the corporate world. You know, being an entrepreneur, we've got so much flexibility. We can conquer the world, but the responsibility that goes with that is daunting. So I would say where I am today, and I feel that I am part of a huge success story, I would say no. I wouldn't go back there. I've had my dark hours where I've had to lean into my faith, because it would be easier to pick up the phone and say, hi, do you still need me as a PA? But no, yeah, no, making a difference is huge, and I feel that I'm accomplishing that now.
Thanks, but you're always welcome back.
Thanks. We'll take the second last question.
Are you preparing your business for the next generation, for your princesses at all? And if so, how?
I must be honest that they're quite little, so I haven't actually given that much thought into it. But yes, actually. You know, my parents never created a position for me. But I feel that the life skills that I'm teaching my beautiful princesses is to make the best of the situation. You know, you find yourself in this position. How can you make it work? So I really would, and I really have a dream that my princesses will go on and study. But when they study, maybe there will be an element that they could come into the business and enhance the business in whatever way, if it's in a legal way, if it's in research or whatever. So I haven't thought that far, but yes, I mean, I will support them in whatever decisions they make. And like I say, I'm trying to give them life skills of, you know, when you're in that situation, it's not daunting. You know, you want to be a graphic designer, now you're in a fish business. But, you know, if you've got an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful, then, you know, you could be doing all the graphics and the marketing for the company. And that could be your forte. So, yeah, I hope I answered that question correctly, because I haven't thought that far.
Thanks. So, okay, we'll take the last two.
Hi, Nicolette. My name is Lebo, final year become accountant, UCT student. So my dream has always been to become a CA until like last year when I got more involved into business and got to have a chance to have a startup with my two other friends. I actually needed advice. So currently I battle from, after GDA, do I go serve articles, or do I just continue with my business because I believe in it so much? But also, I still have that dream to be like, I still want to become the CA, yes, but like, I also believe in my company. So I don't know, I just don't know.
Whoa, that's a tough one. It's very tough to give other people advice, but if I were you, maybe if I can put it across that way, if I were you, I would definitely go into the CA firm and do my articles. But I would still be working on my dream part-time. I'd be gaining that experience so that when I need to use it in my own space, I've actually got it for free, and you will be surrounded by like-minded people. You'd have a lot more opportunity. So if it was me, I wouldn't. I mean, your dream always needs to be watered. It always needs to be kept alive. But sometimes you need to take a step back before you can take a step forward. So I would do my articles, and pursue my dream on the side, and then eventually go full-time into my dream.
Cool. Great, thanks. Great, we'll take the last one.
Hi, as a fellow Fisher person, trying to be PC here.
Nice.
From your boats and things like that, how are you guys finding the fish stocks, fish levels, all the sustainability? Because obviously you're building a business and you're talking about the now. I'm more interested in what's happening in the future, especially if we look over the everyday news cycles, what's happening in our oceans, what we don't see. You, from a first-hand experience, what are our fish stocks looking like out there in our waters?
Sure. So, I can talk about this topic for hours because it's a topic very close to my heart, and I'm actively involved with this area. Sustainability and traceability is a big ethos of our business, and like I say, not just sitting behind the desk and being a leader, I'm physically involved on the ground with the fishermen. Where are we going with regards to the resource? I feel that obviously there's certain sectors that are not really regulated, and the poaching does happen to our dismay. But, the sectors that our business find ourselves in, we in commercial longline and trawling, it's very regulated. The South African government actually is doing a phenomenal job. We cannot sail without a fishing permit. We cannot sail without a vessel license, as you know, as a fisher. And then when you discharge your vessel, your monitors are there, your stats are submitted. It's also very important for me within Fish4Africa, and I think, as a family, we align ourselves with loads of associations. The most important association that is close to our heart is the South African Longline Association. And it's important that we make, it starts somewhere. So for us, we make an effort with Catfish to put observers on our vessels. We were part of a huge research where they actually took Hake Longline. I don't want to go into the whole sassy thing, but Hake Longline moved from your orange to your green list. And our vessel, called the Nicolette, named after me, she was actively involved in that research program. So yes, sustainability is close to my heart because it is about our future. The environmental impacts is huge. That's things that I can't control. Fishing patterns, there's so many elements to why fish are migrating and moving. But, personally, I think it's just about continuously educating yourself. And it's not just something about overfishing or poaching. Sustainability is big. I'm big, or I'm something that is very close to my heart at the moment, and I will be driving in the next few months, is our carbon footprint that actually affects the ocean. It's not just the fishing. There's various elements that are affecting the resource. So I can say that on our vessels, we've got garbage plans. Within Fish4Africa, we will be starting a campaign where, customers, if you want to bring in your own container, please do. So we don't have to use polystyrene tray. My wonderful team are looking into other forms of packaging that we can offer. So I hope I answered your question. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you that we will have fish for another 100 years. But it starts with us, and like I said earlier, sustainability and traceability is a big part of our ethos, and if we know that we're doing our bit and our vessels at sea are controlled, are regulated, then it's starting somewhere. I hope I answered it correctly.
Great. Thank you very much. A big hand for Nicolette, please.